Not
Man,
bad, Tom. Not
I
bad
wish
at all.
we record that before we went live.
Well, I mean, obviously it's turning on, so I doubt it. Well, it says it's been going for 17 seconds. Maybe it did catch it.
No, it didn't, because I pointed right at 01.
Oh, you saw that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we can't be amazing at everything, Tom.
No, no, or capture when we are amazing.
All right. Good evening, folks. This is the Commander Shipp and Major Tom show. This is the weekly movie and TV news. Nice salute there, Tom. Uh, this is your weekly movie and TV news throughout the week. We cover some stuff on State of the Nerd Union. If you're new joining us, yeah, we cover some stuff on the Monday show, but this is where we get in depth or just get the new stuff that falls through the cracks. It just doesn't fit on State of Nerd Union. Last week we did a smorgasbord of we kept pushing off Superman and Lois, but Tom had his thing, I'd had my thing. Like we just could not sync it up. So glad we got that done. We did Suicide Squad. Finally got to talk Suicide Squad, and we covered the Black Widow controversy on top of everything else that we talked on. So yeah, how you doing, Tom?
Mm-hmm. I'm doing just ducky. I got back from ducky, quack quack.
Was it Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan, and I believe I consumed more calories than I drank more calories than I ate. So
Nice.
a lot of
Yeah,
wine,
I feel about that.
and I came back with 3 cases
3 cases of
wine.
nice.
Yes.
Um,
So
I think you
giving
saw
that
my,
stuff away, and yeah, I'm just gonna be giving it away.
I think you saw my steak photos, so that's what I was
Mm-hmm.
up to this weekend.
Very nice.
I forgot that me and Chris Hemsworth share a birthday. So his birthday is also on August 11th. Of course, he's when he was 33, did way more. He's at 38.
Really? Does he have a podcast? I don't think so.
I mean, but he gets invited to be on podcasts, so I think that's kind of the trade-off. That's
Don't
happening. It's
you?
gonna happen. I
You've
guess
been
technically,
invited.
I
Uh-huh.
was gonna say, I guess technically I do, but
Chris, Kenny, same.
all right. So, folks, we are gonna lightning round. I bet it's that kid, but we're gonna try to.
No. We're
Uh,
not.
Tom,
Yes.
since we have never gotten through the news last week we got through the news at a very reasonable time. So
Yes.
here come your quick hits. We're gonna move through these. We're gonna see how we do. All right, and some of the things is y'all get to watch this live. Obviously, the ones that come out later are edited down, shorter clips for y'all to enjoy. But even then, we are trying to like tighten up. So if you'll notice over the next couple episodes, I'm working on it. All right. Try not to be as long-winded. Hopefully, it'll be more enjoyable for the audience as well. So,
It's
quick
too
hit.
late.
It's too late.
It's
How's
too late
too
to
late?
not be long-winded. I'm your conscience.
All right, Jamie. Jungle Cruise. We
Yes.
talked about the box office last week. So if you don't have Disney Plus, it is headed to video on demand August 31st. And if you want the physical media for it, you'll be able to get it November 16th. Extras will include 5 featurettes, including an expedition mode, which allow you to have like an interactive mode on the DVD, along with fun facts included in that, Easter eggs, trivia while watching the movie, along with your typical outtakes and 11 deleted scenes.
Ooh.
Are you? Would you still watch it?
I did, actually.
Oh, you did watch it. Oh, that's
I-
right. You were messaging me about the.
I did. I took that hit for the team. I thought you did because of your comment about like made families.
No, it's because I was watching Jumanji clips randomly, and it dawned on me. I'm like, this is Jurassic Park, and it's not.
Yeah.
And other
Okay.
people, like, there are other family dynamics that people were, like, on that thread we had, they were right. Yeah, there are other movies that have family dynamics, that surrogate family feel. And even your joke about Fast 9 or Fast Furious, like, even though we pick on them for saying it so much, that is still a found family. but
Mm-hmm.
it's specifically the disgruntled male protagonist doesn't really want to interact with kids. The movie takes time to soften him towards the kids. There's the mom who's typically a smart-witted or like a good person in her field esque character. Um, Trying to see, I listed out a couple other reasons there. The kids are usually integral to some part of the plot. They might be getting into hijinks and shenanigans, but they usually have at least one scene where it's like, if you don't do this, you're not gonna make it. Um, so yeah, and then by the end, they are either arm in arm, falling asleep on each other, or in Jumanji's case, they end up saving the kids' lives or
Yep.
saving the kids' parents' lives. So they have an extended family thing.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, my thing about it was this, like, okay, The Rock is basically now is trending to be typecast as a cursed warrior conqueror type.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, major plot point is a curse on some conquistadors.
Man, that sounds awfully close to Pirates of the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's like they just, oh, yeah, this one will do. We didn't use that script.
But that was a script for a pirate film. Yeah, just change some names around.
Jungle of the Caribbean. No.
It's like, we didn't mean change it like that. All right. Continuing on, Hotel Transylvania 4, which also is not being voiced by Kevin James or Adam Sandler, but the rest of the cast, Selena Gomez and Andy Samberg, will still be there. Is moving to Amazon. Snatched it up, and it was supposed to premiere October 1st, but due to concerns of COVID, Sony was in negotiations with Amazon to have it streamed there. Of course, they'll still keep their global distribution, so it could release in other theaters around the world if that works out better. But particularly for the US, if you want to watch this movie for kids, it's going to come out on Amazon, which might, honestly, for a lot of parents, that might make a lot of sense.
Yes.
And Next up, Taika Surprise! If you're at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, you got a nice treat with Taika Waititi coming out to debut the film. He came out on stage, talked to the fans, talked about his involvement in the movie, signed photos and things, and kind of hammed it up with them before the screening happened for Free Guy last week. So nice.
Yeah.
Haven't really been able to have that with the pandemic. So nice seeing those moments be able to come back.
Mm-hmm. Also, man, he's been a busy guy.
Yeah, we have more Taika news later in the show.
Well, but I mean, he was doing premiere stuff for Suicide Squad, probably.
Oh, and yeah, that's right.
And then like 2 weeks ago, and now, or no, actually, the week before Free Guy came out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was back to back. So
yeah.
Suicide Squad, Free Guy. We got Star Wars news from him. What We Do in the Shadows. Season 3 is about to premiere. They've already renewed season 4, so we'll get to that in a sec. So now we're gonna move to castings and announcements. Tom, how much did you get to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
I didn't care after 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, and it's not a knock on the. There's a really loyal Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan base, which is really cool. I'm down for that. And Chloe Bennett, who played Quake in the series, recently was in the Powerpuff Girls live adaptation. There was issues with the pilot. CW wanted them to rework the pilot. Since that caused a delay, Chloe Bennett's like, I'm out. Screen Rant and Cinema Blend ran with the idea that her dropping out of that could bring back Quake as a character in the MCU. And they're kind of missing one big point. MCU does not recognize Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
They have, is the multiverse open now and are bringing a lot of things back. There's a lot of opportunities. Yes. We think that multiverse might be how the X-Men get brought in without them having been on the planet and not done anything. Like, okay, so But it would be really weird for them to now acknowledge Agents of Shield as a thing, or even the Netflix series. Although we still gotta wait because apparently Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio are going to be back for Spider-Man. Like, I don't know. It's chaos, Tom.
Yeah, no. People need to understand. Agent Coulson is Uncle Ben dead in the MCU. I'm just going to throw that out there.
We still don't know how that happened. We still don't know how that happened in this universe. It just kind of just glossed over it.
I don't think they're going to do anything. No, it's basically she opted out, and they're like, ooh, she's going to become Quake again. No.
Now, I mean, if they had stuck to what they're reporting on her being available, would at least mean she could have the option to if that becomes available.
Yes.
That's why I would have ended the article.
Yeah.
That's not what they did.
Please let this happen. Instead of, no.
Yeah. All right. Jonathan Majors has been busy, as we know, playing He Who Remains recently in Loki, and was talking to IndieWire because he's over in London filming Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Also, it's wild how many of these are starting filming now, even though some of them will not be out until Ant-Man and the Wasp won't be out till 2023. So that's kind of I'm like, all right. I mean, go ahead and sew this up.
CGI. There's that, but also a lot of them might be, the project manager in me.
Get it knocked out while you
have the option to start early, take it, so that you can be on time still if there are other COVID restrictions that happen.
Yeah, I don't know why that didn't occur to me, but yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Just get something on tape. You could always do reshoots if you need to do some touch-ups, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. Right.
Yep.
Right. Good point. But he also mentioned because of the Emmy buzz that's coming up with Lovecraft Country, he's going to be a little disappointed if they end up winning and he's in London not able to make it over with the team, especially considering that it wasn't renewed for a second season, which a lot of us thought it was going to be a shoo-in for. So he just kind of got to express his feelings on that in that interview with IndieWire. Which, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
I wonder how much more press it will take, though, for HBO to be like, crap, we should call him back.
They should. Oh, man. Because everybody's going to go off and do other stuff.
They need to do this quick.
Yeah. I mean, and you would have thought, knowing that Watchmen, that Lindelof was pretty firm, like, I really don't. I had one story that I really wanted to tell, and that's kind of it. I really didn't like. So that's different. He's like, I don't really have another. I don't really want to tell another story. If y'all want to do something, cool. And the HBO's like, yeah, well, it's not. That's different.
Yeah.
You have a willing showrunner. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just I want to show a 10-hour film, and the only way I can do it is to make it into a series. That's really what that show was. But you were saying.
Yeah. So yeah, you have someone willing to, it's already fleshed out, put together the story Bible for the second season, and then you're like, nah. So that still irks me.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's really cool. The upcoming Hawkeye series will be out in November, the week of Thanksgiving. Alako Cox, who plays Echo in the series and the potential spinoff, posted to their Instagram about new roles coming up with two characters named Jessica and Iris, both either being of Native American or Latinx descent and being fluent in American Sign Language, which is what they're looking for in the two cast members. And I really like this because up until now, Hawkeye being partially deaf and doing sign language in the comics has not really been brought into the MCU. And it sounds like maybe the side characters, because it sounds like Hawkeye's, this might be Jeremy Renner's exit. So does the show and passes it on to like Haley Steinfeld's character and Alako Cox's Echo character. So passing it on to Kate Bishop, moving on for them to take it onward. So if they are going to do ASL, with those characters and like other people around them, that's really cool. So that even though Hawkeye's character didn't do it in the movies and may not even do it in the series, it'd be really cool if they pass it on to the people carrying the torch.
Yes, that is very cool. Though I kind of hope that it does happen, that he does lose some hearing or something like that, and
and then has to learn maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's like an entire episode if you need to burn one.
And then because there's a great Deadpool comic where him and Hawkeye are teamed up, and Deadpool knows how to do ASL, and it's doing that in the comic, and it's just it's very subtle. Like they don't even really spend a lot of time on it. It's one of those things. If you blink, you're like, wait a minute, he's doing ASL with him throughout the like what? To help clue Hawkeye in on what's it's like nice. All right. We talked. We said there was going to be some more Taika Waititi news. We already said like what we do in the shadows. Season 3 premieres this month, and FX is already confirmed. Their new trailer dropped, and season 4 is also confirmed. So the show is just doing really well on FX. People are really enjoying it. I haven't even been able to watch past. I watched a couple episodes of season 1. I haven't been able to catch up. So if you got more info on it, Tom, let me know. But
not yet.
You got nothing?
I got nothing.
You got nothing.
To quote Tuvok. No.
Some good news for the cast and crew in the FX series and for the show in general, though. Anyone that's ever worked with Scott Rudin, FX has confirmed that he has been removed, and so will not be returning to produce on this show or any other FX show. Specifically, the Hollywood Reporter broke that there was a lot of abuse of his colleagues, as far as like verbal abuse, and so any projects he was working on here or potentially on Broadway, he had some Broadway shows that are potentially going to be under his helm. He's also been stepped back and been removed from those as well. So that's sad to know that happened, but glad to hear that the productions have removed him from.
Yep.
Which, if you heard me on State in Virginia, you know how upset I am at Activision and Ubisoft. So we will not rehash that here, but cool. All right, The Marvels. Speaking of another show, speaking of another film that started filming, The Marvels has started filming. Samuel L. Jackson teased his look, which I'll pull up, which may confirm the time period that The Marvels is going to happen in, because again, we already know that Spectrum. Wow, Tatiana Paris. I'm trying to remember what her Monica Rambeau. But what's the character's name? It's not
Karen Rambeau.
Well, no, but is it Spectrum? I might be using the wrong name. I think it's Spectrum.
I think it's Spectrum.
Yeah, and then Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel. So likely we assumed it's going to be present day, and Samuel Jackson posted to his Instagram his classic goatee setup for Nick Cage. That photo creeps me out a little bit. It just it weirds me out a little bit just being on that pin cushion.
And it also looks more Van Dyke-y. There's no good way of saying Van Dyke like.
Van Dyke like.
Van Dyke like. Just because it's not like wrapped around it's all foofy.
Yeah, it's foofy. It's floating. I just I'm gonna switch to something else. I'll switch back to
that. Actually, for old heads like myself, that looks like evil Michael Knight from Knight Rider goatee. Yes, there was an evil Michael Knight, and he had a goatee, so that everyone at home would know that's evil Michael Knight.
So
moving on,
we got 2 more announcements. Not the Harrigan.
No.
Okay, so I have been on record, either on this show or just in general in life, being like, Kristen Stewart is Princess Diana. Now that I see the photo side by side, that decision's making a lot more sense. Now, whether she'll be able to pull it off as far as in the portrayal, that's a different question. And if you've been watching Kristen Stewart in indie movies more recently, I have to kind of take back some, or I guess maybe the fair statement is early Kristen Stewart. I think those criticisms are fair. More recent Kristen Stewart works, it seems like she's started to find her groove. So if she brings that same energy and effort to this project, I think she'll do really well. But it's been confirmed that this is going to be coming out this year on November 5th. No words yet if that will stick to, like it says currently in theaters. Everything is, y'all should know by now. Since we started reporting, we've been doing back and forth on calendar releases, so we'll see if that stays. Tom, how do you feel about it?
Well, I was going to make a joke that maybe Kristen Stewart should tap into her early acting style to capture the reserved and suppressed emotions that the royals teach.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm willing to. I mean, yeah, she'll do just fine, I'm sure.
Let's see. There we go. I think. There we go. All right. Cool. Just getting our video ready. Because we have trailers. We have trailers today. All right. And last, I knew Clerks 3 was gonna happen. And surprisingly, it's funny. There's been a Ahsoka photo floating around of like how you know Rosario Dawson versus how we know Rosario Dawson, and it's got the ass to mouth quote from Clerks 2. Oh man, I just so we Dante and Randall are back. So if you remember at the end of Clerks 2, they bought the gas station. The gas station had burnt down. They ended up buying it, trying to get their lives back together because they're working at the fast food restaurant. It was just pretty awful. So like, no, well, we got them Jay and Silent Bob gave them the money to buy the gas station, so long as they could just stay outside and continue to do their thing. So Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson are back. So we already saw Rosario Dawson there as Becky, and then I couldn't recognize his face, but I was like, wait a minute, is that the kid from the fast food restaurant, the Lord of the Rings kid? And yeah, that's Elias on the far left.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's all grown up. Looks, I guess you can kind of see it in the eyes a little bit in the face, but yeah, just looks very different. Yeah. Also, I'm realizing how old I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and how old, really old, two of them are.
Hey, for Rosario Dawson, melanin, see, black don't crack. Trying to tell y'all. Sorry-o. Much love. All right. It's time for trailers, which you might have guessed that from that the work I was doing there on the side there for a second. So actually, first up, I said Star Wars, but actually it's going to be found out about this today. Night of the Animated Dead. Josh Duhamel is going to be voicing in it along with Katie Sackhoff, one of our queens of nerddom. Hey, we did Rosario and Kate. See, we can't decide who the queen is, but we can say queens of nerddom.
There are many, because you can also include, names are escaping me right now. Well, Sigourney Weaver.
Which plug. We'll be doing Galaxy Quest next week on Red Shirt Rejects. So we definitely count that as a Trek film. If you get mad about it, we don't care. All right. But yeah, let's go ahead and if you have watched Night of the Living Dead before, this intro should be very familiar to you.
This is the National Civil Defense Headquarters. There is an epidemic of mass murder with no apparent pattern or reason. The killers are eating the flesh of the people they kill. Remain in your home. Keep all doors and windows locked or boarded shut. That's all for now.
Hey, don't look at it. I need you to get some wood. Run, don't shoot. How long have you guys been down there?
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
Is it?
All law enforcement agencies have been organized to destroy the marauders.
This is so 70s.
Stay safe out there.
Some of us can go out and try to get to the truck.
We've got to get
Oh
down
my
on this.
gosh.
If you're coming, come on! Let me in! They're coming to get you, Barbara.
And look for it on digital and Blu-ray.
That is absolutely ridiculous. It's wonderful.
They're coming to get you, Barb. Hence why I was like, yeah, if you watched it before, there's some nice nods back to the original.
Yes. But that animation style is killing me. It's like the Hanna-Barbera group decided to do this. The same team that did, Super Friends. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see.
Next up is Visions or Prisoners of Ghostland.
It was. We're gonna do Prisoners of Ghostland. Maybe. All right, let's try Star Wars.
I should be vamping right now, I guess.
All right, then we will go to the old-fashioned way I just had it. All right, fine. One moment.
My granddaughter has been lost to us. I would have her return to me post-haste. And you, sir,
What?
are the man to do the job. Each arm is equipped with an explosive device. Your trousers are also equipped with explosives. Just beyond the point where we now stand lies a highway where evil reigns.
What is this?
At the end of 5 days, if you have not returned with Bernice, well, I think you get the idea, son. Godspeed.
This is
A
the
total Gonzo experience.
A land of no escape.
We are not the ones who hold her captive.
It's been 2 days, and still she is missing.
How do I get out of here?
You must surrender to fate.
Make it rain, baby!
Hi.
What?
Radio.
Did I read that right?
The ghost land.
Or gas? I think you did.
I'm not a prisoner!
Wow.
Top.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
Sion Sono, have you seen Tokyo Gore Police?
No, I have not.
So it's same dude, same level of ridiculousness. I I mean, it's not
No
going to
one
be Mandy or Color from Outer Space, from Out of Space, but
No one should watch this movie sober.
probably not. Probably not. But I don't know, like, because I'm glad I didn't see him running around with a sword. He looks like some American dude getting ready to just shoot folks, and there's other allies, I think,
Yeah.
And if Sophia Botella can hopefully have some badass moments in here as well, because the poor girl, sorry, I don't want to say girl, poor woman keeps getting, like, the Mummy. That could have been cool, but that movie was shite. That was terrible.
And
I
then
would
she
love.
was
Okay.
Ting Ting in Hitman, right? Or not Hitman,
I know what you're talking about.
Kingsman.
The knee things, or the weird, like,
Yeah, wasn't that her?
yeah, you're Oscar Pistorius blades things.
Yeah.
Oh God, why couldn't she have been an agent or something in that? So
That was a badass character. I don't care what anyone says.
it's impractical.
Yes, but
Me yelling about impractical stuff. Okay. Anyway, next trailer we talked about. But we'll see. This is going to be coming out. So it had its world premiere Sundance earlier this year in January. It'll be coming out in September 17th, video on demand. So yeah, Tom, don't even have to walk into a theater to watch this one.
nope.
You can enjoy the craziness. It seemed like a Japanese-inspired Mad Max.
Yes. Yeah, there is a lot of that in there. Yeah.
Like the world's ended and people come up with their own new philosophies. That are,
Yeah, the post-apocalyptic future, but also kind of scary Tokyo.
Yeah. Cool. And now we will play Star Wars Visions. This is seven short films collected together. And so just real quick, I have talked about my love of The Mandalorian, but I've also stated that I hate how much fans are not aware of the roots of, like, the Hidden Fortress, the Akira Kurosawa films that Star Wars is based off of, the old, like, being off of samurai movies first before it's based off of westerns. But of course, space westerns are definitely a part of sci-fi. But space westerns are still pulling from samurai movies. Sorry, folks.
Yep.
Like, it's just.
And even real westerns were pulling off of samurai movies.
Exactly. So even in the comments on this trailer, or like I've seen online, or people like, "Oh man, it's really cool that they're trying to incorporate that into Star Wars." And I wanted to lose my shit. Oh, Tom, I showed restraint today.
Really?
I showed restraint. No one died. I just read it.
You can unclench now.
I can. So
there you go.
Lindy Fitness. That was regarding the Nick Cage movie. Put it in my veins. Let's see. Oh no!
I mean,
it's not what I meant to do. Dang.
Listen, I've seen Bangkok Dangerous twice, so
Why didn't you do that to yourself?
It is a fascinatingly bad movie.
Yeah, you're not wrong. All right, so we will move on. And sorry, I talked about it, but let's actually show.
のことよ。ジェダイいう偉大な戦士がこの星にやってきて、うちの祖先がこの宝刀を託される。その刀は常に全力で支え合う。そいつはお前のもんじゃ。
前は生まれた時からフォースに導かれていたのだ。
この時を待っていた。
Oh, sorry, apologies. 9 original stories. That's it.
このような闇と初めて対峙した。闇を感じた。
いつかちゃんと家族になれるから。
Experience familiar world.
Now, this is pod racing.
フォースと共にあらんこと。謹んでお受けします。
Wow. So please tell me it's going to all be in Japanese with subtitles.
For American audiences, Tom, you're smoking crack. You funny. You funny, Tom.
Oh, but man, was that super derivative of like 20 different animes.
Yeah. But I mean, that's how they're developed. I mean, we'll see how they do with the short films themselves. Obviously, the style, you're not wrong. The style is definitely pulling from the different spots, but let's see how to do. Lenny Fitness says there is a dubbed trailer version of it. Nice. That is.
Oh, man. Please.
Okay, so I take it back. Maybe you're right. Lenny Fitness, do you know if that is a fan version or did they actually release a dubbed trailer? Because that's what I'm kind of curious.
I shall use the force. Haha. Please tell me, dude. The bad reading.
Gosh. Which gets me to a longer thing about trying to rewatch Gundam Wing and how bad the translation was on that.
Oh gosh, yes. Speaking of though, the blonde Vader definitely gave me, and I forgot her name, the redhead for the Evangelion, the American. Same vibes in like body language and everything else, and the way that they drew her. Speaking of which, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 is out on Amazon. I saw, so I think that's something newish.
Yeah, there's been some controversy with the releases on Netflix because they changed some stuff.
No, I'm sorry, not Netflix, Amazon.
No, right, but I'm saying Netflix got the
they had 1 and 2,
and they did something. I remember there being a little bit of a backlash on how they changed some of the relationship dynamics on it. I guess to make it more kosher. So I need to go back. I want to go rewatch the versions I have before I watch the Netflix ones. See if it was that big of a change, but maybe it was overblown. But Lenny Fitness gave the link there for folks on Twitch, so thank you for that. Okay, so our major stories. We're in the home stretch, Tom.
Yep.
Really good. And there's only a few of these, so here we go. I teased on Facebook that Dune is shaping up. I am trying. I gave up. I think a month ago, once the recent trailer came out. I think I gave up trying to be objective or not being excited for this because I was trying to. Yeah. I was trying to hold it back, Tom. I was trying to hold it back and be like, I don't want to be disappointed. But the unabashed kid in me is just all in the things I keep hearing about. So first thing, we reported back when HBO Max decided they were going to release all their movies on HBO Max in 2021 that like Patty Jenkins was upset, Gal Gadot was upset, and Denis Villeneuve like went at them. Just scorched earth fire and brimstone as far as like this is the asinine idea. And it's about 2 months before the movie's going to come out. His stance hasn't really changed.
Nope.
He's still very solid on it. He said he's very adamant that Dune should be seen on the big screen, saying that it's akin to driving a speedboat through a bathtub.
I'm glad you're so humble, Denny.
I mean,
he's setting a high bar and high expectations right now.
God, but man, I mean, Tom, if he like smashes it.
Oh yeah, if he smashes it, I'll say he smashed it. But if it's like lukewarm, I'm going to be, my review's going to be, it really didn't feel like a powerboat through a bathtub.
At best, it felt like an RC car in grass. Let's see. Vinny Wave also confirmed that Dune 2 would build a focus more on Chani, played by Zendaya, which may tease where the first movie leaves off. So we don't really know for sure exactly where. Like he said about half of the book in part. Half of the book in part 1, half of the book in part 2. But that still doesn't give you a like. Generally, that means we know that he's. TV was about to cut out. There we go. Generally, we know that means Paul will have started to figure out his powers, but maybe that's not leading the assault against the Harkonnen yet. So that might be like we've seen some attacks in the film, we've seen some attacks in the trailers. Maybe that's just the start of it, and they don't really finish that out until you get to part 2. But Johnny taking on a bigger role makes sense, at least in the second half of the film, because she's got to lead Paul through some of the other traditions. And she's been in his brain and in the visions a lot in the first half, and then like as they're partnering up toward the last half. So that makes sense to a degree. I think some people took it as like she is the. Well, actually, no. Sorry, his wording was like she's almost like the protagonist in Dune 2. I don't. Am I missing something on that? Do I need to go back and reread Dune?
So there's opportunities where like, Chani kicks the crap out of a bunch of guys who wanted to challenge Paul, and it's just like it's not even 3 sentences. Like Paul heard a scream outside of his tent. He comes out and sees 3 dead men or something like that, and Chani says, "Yeah, they wanted to challenge you, but they sucked," and that was it. So that's a 10-minute fight scene right there. That's a 5-minute fight scene with a 10-minute lead up of conversation about her politicking among her people to get them to stand down. Her helping him wake up from his sleep. They could do like a 15-20 minute hallucination scene with her. Mm. And then the rest of the time is her whispering in his ear, guiding him through the politics of the Fremen.
I guess I'm wondering if that's what they're. I think that political space. I wonder if that's what they're. Because like once they finally take back the capital, like then you start getting into like the marriage and the issues with it.
Yeah, she can be your wife. I know what's up. This is politics, but no, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about helping him climb.
I know. Just what I'm saying. Like, but okay.
They hinted at her savvy at being political and understanding it.
I planned on rereading it before we get to October, but maybe I need to speed that up so that I can. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably watched the David Lynch movie more times than I've read the book in a long time. Because even though that movie is bad. It's not good for even 80s standards.
No.
Or sorry, it was watchable for 80s standards. Now even pulled out from that time period, it's worse. And we definitely recognized it was bad when it came out. I'm just saying, but you kind of get away with some movies. You could kind of be like, this is kind of there's some cool stuff kind of happening in it, and it's got Patrick Stewart. Before we knew who Patrick Stewart was. That's the other thing that kills me. Everyone's like, put Patrick Stewart's in it for like 2 scenes. And you got to remember at the time, nobody knew who he was. He was not Jean-Luc yet.
Yeah. No, he was some dude with a skullet.
Oh, God.
Young pup!
Okay. Oh, no. Shoot. No, sorry. We're still on Dune. Not yet, Michael Keaton. No, that 80s, 90s
Michael
actor.
Keaton always trying to get into stuff.
So, Tom.
Yes.
Last week we talked about the 6-hour cut of Dune,
Uh,
which we would much rather watch than another 4-hour cut of the Snyder Cut.
I had to watch 10 of them before I'd watch another Snyder Cut.
That's the right answer. The special features and the behind-the-scenes details for the movie that Denny's putting together, and they're putting together a behind-the-scenes book and like extra materials like you can buy as a. Not even with the movie release, just like buy this as an additional piece. It started ballooning and got so massive that Hans Zimmer was like, you know what? I want to write a score for this. I'll write some music to go in that, and they can listen to this as they're reading it.
Wow.
I didn't have time to research if that had ever happened before. Like, I've heard of like extra songs being included in a soundtrack and everything like that. Writing an additional score because the materials are that dense. I think that's a new one.
So either that is super telling as to how impressive Denis is, or Hans Zimmer needs a hobby.
It could be both. No, so and even though if I just restrict it to looking at Zimmer, he has made extra songs before. I'm going to nerd super hard here for 2 seconds. Dark Knight Rises has, or I guess long story short, I am very obsessed with trailer music and trying to find samples of everything that's included in the movie. So if someone comes up with score, but I know there's a theme that's in the movie and it doesn't get put in the score or like in the official soundtrack, I lose it because I'm like, that might have been my favorite one. Why isn't that? And Zimmer has this habit of doing a special edition later. Like, so Dark Knight's got 2 albums. If you go and look into the second album, some of the biggest scores, like when Harvey Dent gets thrown off the building and it leads into the end of the movie, that's not an original one. You have to go wait until they made a special edition. And I'm like, that's kind of a title track in that film because it's leading to it crescendos into the end monologue and then ends the movie. But that wasn't in the original one. So him doing extra stuff would not be surprising, but a whole score is the thing that I'm like, all right, Hans. All right. I'll see you. So as far the objective train for Commander Shipp has left the building. So even when I review this, I might have to just be like, this is just an impressions article. I am not able to be objective in a score here. I might be the idiot.
Zimmer, Tom.
Are you excited about the Flash movie?
I saw it in the notes and I was just like, oh yeah, Flash movie's happening. Forgot about that. Partly because I haven't heard anything about it like in 2 months?
That's true. So Andy Muschietti did the 2 It movies. Chapter 1 was great. Chapter 2, it was the thing that happened. But he's directing the Flash, and Keaton, I saw quote him directly, said it was weirdly and ironically easy regarding like kind of stepping back into the role, stepping into that set for the first time, and a little bit emotional. Just a rush of memories without giving anything away, which I can't. Basically, the first shot, not of the entire movie, but let's just say the introduction of Batman is so good that when we walked on and started talking about a couple shots and the angles, I went, whoa, this is big. This is great. I don't even mean for me, just the imagery, it's great and reminiscent to some degree of Tim Burton. So it's at least giving a good impression that they're going to like, it sounds like there's going to be a nice transition of bringing that particular Batman in, whatever that happens in the screenplay, because that's the other thing. We know Keaton is coming back in, but we don't really know what that means because we've seen shots of Ben Affleck's Batman in there too. So I still have a sneaking suspicion he's either playing like an older version of Affleck's character, or maybe he's going to be like Thomas Wayne. I still hold out for Thomas Wayne, but I don't. Yeah.
I don't want it to be Thomas Wayne. I want him to universe jump, which I think is really going to be the whole theme of the Flash.
Yeah, that honestly would make more sense.
His
right.
multiverse treadmill machine.
Get out. Get out.
What?
I know it's a thing. I don't have to like it.
I didn't say I liked it. I'm just pointing out that is how he traveled between universes, was by getting on a Peloton and running really fast.
All right, just because I know it'll piss Jerry off. Hey, Jerry, when you're editing this later, I hate the Flash. I think the way he's used is moronic. The character is fine. I think the way he's used is moronic. Additionally, there were some trailers. We didn't grab the photos of the trailers because I think y'all would have been bored by that, so I did not grab those. But essentially, there's been some new trailers outside the set with the names Patty, Albert, and where is it? David. Why those would be significant? Some people have speculated Albert is Albert Desmond, who works on the forensic team with Barry and eventually becomes Dr. Alchemy. David Singh is the usually the city police department head, so that might be who that trailer refers to. And the last one, Patty Spivot, another crime lab, Star Labs crime division member there with Barry. So that might be confirmation that they're at least going to be in some part, play some part in the film. Yeah.
Yep. I really hope they get me to care about the Flash in this.
Nah, I can't do that.
Well, just in that, like, even the 4-hour version, I was just like, it showed the Flash more, but still not buying it.
Or, if you're going to show him more, like, don't be creepy. Look at you, Zach and Ezra. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's spend 5 minutes in slow-mo to show. Okay. We've done that enough.
Oh, wait, yeah, they did do that. Like, a crotch shot and other things like that.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I totally forgot about that.
Let's move on to sad fun things. Yay! So we got some the T'Challa Star-Lord episode for What If comes out at 2 p.m. Central Time. I'm sorry, 2 a.m. Central Time, or just go watch it in the morning or afternoon tomorrow. Just like, don't stay up for that. It's a 30-minute episode. Just watch it tomorrow. But this will be, we had noticed 4 performances of Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa in the series. So this will be the first of 4. So unfortunately, we were counting down the performances that we had with him. We know we had Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and I forget 21 Bridges. So that was the last 2 theatrical movie appearances of him. And so this would be the first of 4 of his last known performances. I've scoured. I don't think there's anything else that he was on or did. I don't think there's any other MCU stuff that I'm aware of. But Kevin Feige with Variety, or told Variety on the red carpet for Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings, which just had its premiere this week. Because again, they didn't know it was going to be his final performance. But there were some things that stood out from it. That he came in numerous times, was super gung ho about the Star-Lord version. He read that episode and came back and that he really loved that version of T'Challa. And they had a conversation with Ryan Coogler about how do we get some of his voice, not the story elements, because obviously that would make 0 sense being brought into Black Panther 2. But he's like, how do we get some of his voice into the T'Challa that folks are aware of? And it sounds like from Feige's statement that Coogler is trying to honor some of that in the whatever the shift or the tone is going to be for Wakanda Forever, the sequel to the first Black Panther. And again, obviously that would have been cooler if he could have been there to incorporate some of those elements in, but I'd be interested to see how they honor that last wish of his.
Mm-hmm.
And then, let's see. We have two from Bradley and Andrews, two of the animation directors for What If, talk about his final performance as well. So again, kind of reiterating that he enjoyed the idea of being able to play this different version. The event, and Andrews tells the Hollywood Reporter, let me get my words right. Good Lord. Let me take a pause. Sorry. The events are so extremely different, but the galaxy doesn't change T'Challa. T'Challa changes the galaxy. There are a few more times where he pops up briefly in a couple other episodes, so we were able to record him a bit during the pandemic. Those records are over Zoom calls, and in the last record, we were done. I selfishly was able to tell him how much I personally thought of him. He touched his heart, and he was very thankful, but we had no idea he was going through what he was going through. Because again, a lot of that's become public now, but at the time, Boseman hid a lot of that from even some of his co-stars as well. And then Bradley have the sad honor of writing some of his last lines in MCU. I obviously did not know that when I was writing them, and that reiterating that Boseman really understood the importance of Black Panther. Yeah. So glad they could give a nice little touching tribute to him, talk about their time working with him. And if you want to see the entire interview, go check out the Hollywood Reporter article. It's got a little bit more, and also they're recording their talk about it. Cool. Hey, Tom.
Yes.
Did you know Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke are neighbors?
No, I did not.
I didn't know that either until I learned how Oscar Isaac invited Ethan Hawke to join this Moon Knight series.
Were they both mowing their lawns to the appropriate HOA level?
Effectively. He literally just shouted over to Ethan Hawke and said, hey, do you want to be in Moon Knight?
He's talking to the producer. He's like, hey, wait a minute. I might have a guy for you. Hey, Ethan! Yeah, he'll do it.
Ethan Hawke was in an interview with Seth Meyers, and he said, well, I heard about it from Oscar Isaac, who lives like 3 blocks down the street. He's like, hey, want to be in Moon Knight with me? And I was like, yeah, so it happened the right way, you know? Oh, man.
Wow.
That... I guess for some folks that are struggling and trying to get into the industry, that's not funny to them because they'd be like, hey, I'm trying to get I get it. So I am sensitive to that, but that's a cool story. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. That's a cool story. I'm sorry. That's hilarious. We still don't know who Ethan Hawke is playing though. If you're familiar with the, cult leader David Koresh. Now it seems like quite a left turn, but Ethan Hawke was like reading into him and trying to base some of his, because there's going to be a lot of Egyptian mythology that's involved with Moon Knight, and that's where, so again, not exactly a complete corollary, but some people have thought about some of the enemies that Moon Knight faces and the groups that they end up organizing behind him that he ends up having to face. So it makes sense for Hawke's character to dive into a popular American character like this. So again, Koresh claimed to be a prophet, was a primary leader in the 1993 Waco siege. And he's even had very long wavy locks, which even though this photo of Hawke is long, it's not as long as his hair is currently as he set up for the, we showed you set photos way back, probably a couple months ago. That showed how long his hair was. So he is really playing into that Koresh look and idea.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tom?
I'm going to be curious to see how this neighbor movie turns out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And well, just
neighbors,
and we'll just see. Like, it's not quite nepotism, but it is nepotism. let's see how that works out for us.
Fitness says, at least we know he can do a good job, unlike Tim Tebow playing tight end, who was released from the Jacksonville Jaguars. How bad do you have to be to be released from the Jacksonville Jaguars? That's bad, Tom.
Yep.
That's bad. Wait, what's Manny's character from Good Place?
Jason.
Bortles. You got cut from the team that a Bortles came from. Come on. We get back to Taika news.
Yep.
We teased some Star Wars news. So he said that the story threads for his Star Wars movie are basically done, but script still needs to be finished out. You may think that's not really big news. Hey, no, given how up and down Star Wars has been, and I think generally they've got some things that are going in a lot of better directions in the TV front, but movies, I think it's fair to say, have not resonated the same way that we would have liked them to be. I think that's a fair thing to say. Knowing that he feels comfortable that his story is solid and just needs to finish the screenplay, great. I love to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing an interview with Wired and said, so there's a nice little, if you understand screenplays, like it's still in the exterior space stage, but we've got a story I'm really excited about because it feels very me, and that he tends to go down that very sincerity, what he calls sincerity alleyway in my films, saying that I like to fool the viewer into thinking, ha, it's this, and then going, damn it, you made me feel something. And there's one scene in particular from Thor Ragnarok that immediately comes to mind. Or actually, I guess there's two scenes immediately from Thor Ragnarok that are connected together. It's the elevator scene with Thor and Loki, and then when he hits that scene again with him catching the ball that Thor throws at him on the ship, so he knows that it's actually there. And I'm like,
I'm glad that it shows to me that he was taking his time building out the story, which I think is the thing that falls short in Star Wars movies in this last batch or phase.
Yeah.
Reading that article, though, I saw something which kind of disappointed me. He was going to direct Flash Gordon. It's an animated series.
No.
Uh-huh.
Remember, we reported it's moved to live action. Come on, Tom.
It literally said in that article that you just that you put on there.
I know. Okay, what did they say? What did they say?
The director's upcoming projects include What We Do in the Shadows sequel, a Flash Gordon animated remake.
All right,
Netflix
then. Hey,
project,
you know what?
and a live-action Akira remake.
No. The live-action Akira... No, let me set the record straight. Live-action Akira is either done, it's not going to happen, or it's paused, which makes me sad. But I hope he actually does get to... He's speaking of his plate. He actually has a lot going on. Like but no, we reported on this. You and me, Tom. You and me, Tom.
I know we did.
No, IGN is wrong. IGN messed up. So fix your shit, IGN. Go in there and fix your statement. It's not animated anymore. It's live action. That means somebody on their team copy-pasted some shit, put it in the article. I'm looking at you, IGN. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. How's them apples, huh? Huh, Tom? You like apples?
What's that beer that you're drinking there?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So it's Four Hands Citywide. Got the nice flag of the city of St. Louis on it. Yep. Moving on. In case you were wondering, on the Zach Hamilton podcast, or Zach's Takes, Hugh Jackman was recently doing an interview and reiterated for the umpteenth time that he's not coming back to do Wolverine because he, quote, felt that Logan was the best closing to that, and he treated it like the last time he was going to don that character, so he poured his everything into that performance. And we don't really get people saying that most recently.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that. Now, money talks. So if Disney plops down the right amount or throws the right pitch at him, I'd be curious to see if he sticks to his guns. But
yeah, you can already hear the beeping of the dump truck.
And the other thing too is that if he does come back, even if it's not for like maybe if they cast another Wolverine for the MCU, but and he even talk in this interview he talks about Ryan Reynolds. He even tells Zach Hamilton, it's like, please tell Ryan that I'm not going to do it, and that's kind of continuing their kind of very cute, hilarious Twitter feud, which is very fake. When I say feud, it's a fake feud. It's not real in the slightest. But
you know what though? I want him. I want him in Marvel movie. I want him to replace Stan Lee.
Oh man. That'd be hilarious. Don't come back to the Wolverine.
But first time he does it is in the big Avengers X-Men mashup, and he's walking down the street in New York or something like that, like looking up at the sky and keep on looking up, and it's just him. And then they flash to the X-plane, and Wolverine is the new Wolverine hanging out of it.
That is Tom.
Oh, there you go.
That is beautiful. I love it. Love it so much. Some people. Wait, who's the? I can't remember who the guy is on Canadian show. Dang it.
Canadian show.
That I know that does not narrow it down at all.
Small.
Three dudes, flannel shirts.
Oh, crap.
I have the image in my head, but I can't. Letterkenny.
Oh, that one, yes.
I forget who one of the leads is in that, but someone has mentioned that he's the right height to play Wolverine, like at the actual height that Wolverine is, because Hugh Jackman's too tall to be Wolverine. I'm sorry we said it. I love him, but he's too.
That could be it. Hugh Jackman stands next to the guy who's playing Wolverine and just looks, aren't you a little short? Or I thought you'd be taller. Oh.
There you go. Tom with the hits tonight. Yeah, but so I've seen that meme flying around. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm blanking on the name of the actual actor and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that could be cool.
Yep. Speaking of hits,
this last one, I
apologize,
folks. I don't have the photo for this one. No, I do. I apologize. Yes, I do. So Barbra Streisand had the audacity to criticize the 2018 remake of A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, saying that it was unoriginal and gave suggestions of like could have been a Beyonce Will Smith reinvention. And while I don't disagree with her that it could have been modernized, like get some different people of color in it, like I like that. Cool, like cool. But Barbara's movie in 1978 is a remake of the 1954 musical starring Judy Garland and James Mason. And that 54 musical is still a remake of a 1937 drama. So the unoriginality comment is just the one that's like, if you had stuck to just saying, I wish they would have pushed it further, cool.
Yep.
Kind of, it feels like we've said that twice today. Yeah, I wish you just would have pushed it further. But instead you had to say unoriginal. And
Yep.
I think back months ago, no, it's been a year. We talked about Michael B. Jordan. I don't know if this is still happening. This was like a long time ago, but potentially him playing a new Scarface. And the internet was like, but we don't need an Al Pacino remake. I'm like, that's not even the first Scarface. You don't even know your Hollywood movies. There's been two other Scarface movies before that point. It's a very old story. Again, if you're tired of remakes, I'm cool. I'm cool with that. But you need to know that the Mummy, the Brendan Fraser Mummy that you love, is a remake.
Yep.
And I love that Mummy. I think it probably is the best one we've had. So if you hate the Tom Cruise one, you're like, that was a travesty, and it is. Cool. But just realize, don't say it's because they're hurting the original, because that's just not the case. Sorry, Barbara. All right.
You did us wrong, Babs.
Did us wrong, Babs. Father, can you hear me? All right. We're into our main. Oh no, we do have okay. One is going to be, we're putting it out there. We'll get to that at the end. I'm just worried. So we are tentatively alerting you of a thing that's happened. It is official, is a legal document that is out. We've confirmed it and checked that. I've done that for the past weekend, which we'll get to that in a second. The House of Marvel has been kind of going for the ringer recently.
Yep.
So where to start? I guess let's start with the. All right, so I won't get into the whole. We already talked Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow lawsuit. Bob Chapek and Bob Iger commented on it as well. That's not even really what I'm kind of tired of talking about that, to be completely honest. So it'll be fine if we put that on the back burner. Me and Tom last week gave our piece on it. So I guess we could focus just on the Shang-Chi. I'm sorry, this is just okay. So the past 2020 dates are getting pushed back. So we know that things are just getting pushed back because of COVID and trying to figure out what the best time to release something was. Hence why Black Widow didn't come out when it's supposed to. A bunch of other movies. Black Widow comes out in a dual release. There's other movies that come out dual release, like Mulan, Cruella, so on and so forth. Raya and the Last Dragon, and some have done really well, some have not done as well. Mulan particularly did not do very well. And in a shareholders meeting, Bob Chapek, noting that Shang-Chi was going to be in theaters only, noted that it was going to be an interesting experiment. Now, when I hear that, knowing all the context, everything that's happened this year, I just take that as, I don't take any racial connotation to it, but it might be a poor taste because of we haven't had Asian representation. So to be fair to Seaman Yu, because we haven't had any representation, I could understand why this might have been taken the wrong way. But when I take into the context of everything that's happened this year, and he's talking specifically about releasing it in theaters only, I hear we don't feel too confident because look at what happened with Black Widow and all these other things, and the we're going in a downtrend because everyone's not going to the theaters right now. So that's how I took it. Sam Yu did not take it like that at all. Actually, let me see, pull up specifically what he said. Launched into I wouldn't say tirade, but launched into a very strong statement on his Twitter. We are not an experiment. We are the underdog, the underestimated. We are the ceiling breakers. We are the celebration of culture and joy that will persevere after an embattled year. We are the surprise. I'm fired the F up to make history on September 3rd. Join us.
Yeah.
Tom?
We'll still join you, but you might have swung a little too hard at that one.
It's last time I checked, we're still in a what's the joke called for it? And a Danielle Panabaker, and
What?
chocolate panini, and a bird demic. We're still in one of those.
Yep.
So since that's still the status quo, I have a hard time like being like, yeah. I'm like, now should you be excited for your movie and want people to go see it? I'm not knocking that at all, but it does seem like it got centered in or focused in on one word. And again, I will fully admit, because the Asian representation has not been strong in the MCU whatsoever, if he feels that way and it hit him a certain way, I can tell, because I'm trying to think of what an example would be for me, but I could definitely think if this had been like, let's rewind. Actually, you know what? A good example would be, had that comment been said about Black Panther with no pandemic happening, I might have felt the same way. It might have been like, what do you mean experiment? Right? So I can get it. I just feel like it's ignored a lot of extenuating circumstances in the context of the call. So if you're going to go see Shang-Chi, be safe as best you can. My advice when we were still low theater numbers was there's afternoon times and stuff that were pretty empty and felt really good. I can't really stand by that any longer, just because you really don't know who you're in the theater with already, and people are packing back in there, and a lot of theaters have removed their checkerboard seating patterns. They've gone back to just full seating. So I really think you need to take advantage of look at what your local theater is doing, and try to make your best call there. I know the IMAX showings for Shang-Chi start tomorrow. There's some that got dropped, most likely. All those passes are most likely gone, but there were some early screenings that dropped tomorrow, so most likely that will be spaced out well. But when it premieres in September, that's a dicey roll.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to be completely honest. So, because I want to support the representation, but this is tough. This is a hard time frame to be having to throw your support towards something.
Agreed.
I didn't mean to ramble, Tom. I apologize.
You were like, we can do this in under an hour, and then you start monologuing, man.
Hey, they got me monologuing. I do so there's one last thing I wanted to say about, and I talked last week about Kevin Feige, things he said that I've been like, Kevin! But there's been things recently, he came up to the stand, he was defending his talent, in particular Scarlett Johansson, of pay them. I don't want it to get to this point. Stop this nonsense, right? So he's really had his talents back up to the point of having to toe the company line, but he was very strong in the meetings that we were aware of about what to do in that, but some of it was out of his hands. And but I want to bring up a thing he talked about on. Let's see. He talked to it was an interview with Empire, but he was really excited about this because he's actually wanted Shang-Chi to be in the MCU for a long time. So he's saying, I can't remember how many titles were on there. It was 20 or so, but the titles we identified early on was with the hope that we could do all sorts of different films, starting all sorts of different types of people. And for the last 5 years, we've been actively working on bringing the film to life. Which, okay. I'm glad you're excited. I'm glad that this was on the list. It's still me were talking Black Widow and about why it took so long for that movie to come out. And when you learn about how some things got greenlit later into the process, it kind of still makes you wonder, how could this have not fit in sooner into the schedule? Was it Marvel being worried about oversaturating the calendar or something like that? Would that possibly if there's anything I'd like to dig into more, we don't have to do that right now, but I'm kind of posing this as an idea or like a question for going forward. It's like if I had to ask Kevin Feige a question in an interview, I'd want to be like, were you worried that if you released more than 2 or 3 a year, which you've now broken that, but were you worried if you released more than that you were going to overdo it and people wouldn't be interested? Because if that's the case, I can at least understand why early on you might have been hesitant to take a risk on something as opposed to something like a Iron Man, Cap, and
heavy hitters.
Yeah,
paper movers.
And what's Guardians, when the Guardians came out and did really well, was that the first sign that like, oh,
yeah, that's
okay.
a risk. Like I barely knew the Guardians of the Galaxy existed before that movie came out.
So, yeah. Well, we're gonna unfortunately end the show on a sad note. And Tom, you're right. We did not quite make an hour. So it seems like an hour and 30 minutes is just the
best we can do for now.
We will get under an hour and 30 though this week. So that is going to happen. That will happen.
Not if you keep saying that over and over again.
All right. Hey, one moment. I just got to pull up. So we here at Note Union are not about. Tom made a fantastic comment in our staff channel about waiting to see if other folks picked up on this and reported on it. So that's why we've been hesitant to say anything throughout the week on this information. But Rolling Stone, another site called Human Events, which is there's some problems with that site.
That's one of the reasons why I said what I said.
But the reporting, the source is unfortunately very solid. And to make sure that I was not getting bamboozled, I searched the New York Supreme Court's listings myself, found the same listing, found the same photo of James Gunn at this party. Now, to be fair, the one thing we don't know, we have not heard anyone else come out and defense or denounced what the actual intent behind the photo was. So while it is very an incriminating photo, it's still a he said, she said right now because we don't know. We haven't heard from Gunn or the other litigants in this case. So I need to put that out there as a caveat. But let's see if I can pull it up. So James Erlinger, he's a lead singer and songwriter for the band called Mindless Self-Indulgence. Has been accused of sexual battery of a minor throughout his time in the band, specifically of one member that has not been named in the case. So they are being treated as a Jane Doe in the filings to protect their identity. I'm assuming that might get revealed later as the proceedings go on. So this is not what James Gunn has done, but why he's being named as a secondary or in relation to this is they're noting a party in which apparently the party was a pedophilia themed party, and that people were supposed to come dressed as in a photo. I'm not going to show it on here on the air, but James Gunn was dressed as a priest. Some folks were different authority figures, if I can remember correctly from the photo, and the younger women were dressed in like schoolgirl outfits or very young looking outfits. So even if you remove the case that's pending right now, that photo would be pretty. That's atrocious.
Yeah.
So again, we were trying to wait. I've been searching on this quite a bit. Other folks don't seem to really be reporting on it. What is that going to mean for Guardians Volume 3 or his involvement with Hollywood, especially after the success of Suicide Squad? I don't know. And I don't even know. I guess the other thing is like, how do you apologize? Like, I don't know what explanation you give for. I guess would you just say it was a sexy party? It was some Halloween party, and we took the context of that photo out of. I don't.
Well, I'm thinking that's it, but man, it's a terrible choice.
Yeah.
My hope it was a Halloween party. People happened to be dressed up as these things, and then that picture happened. But no, probably not.
Yeah, I feel like the 1% chance is that they happened to take a photo and made a poor in taste joke, but that the party was not actually themed like that. Cause, wow.
Because I've thrown parties where pictures of themes have come out that people freaked out about. But yes, nothing like that.
No, and I haven't been a part of a party like this. I've seen like church themed parties before.
Yep.
But now in 2021, you think about the context of that and everything we know regarding church organization structures, particularly the Catholic Church. I feel like that's what they're leaning into if they do a party like that. So it's kind of hard for you to escape that connotation.
Or even a Catholic high school party.
Yeah.
Hey, that was the theme of my next birthday party.
Tom. Now we got to delete this. Tom. Tom. So we'll keep an eye on this story as it unfolds. And really, I think the other thing that's hurting the exploration of this or getting more information on it, the people that jumped on it first. So let's back up to James Gunn's bad tweets super quick. When he released those, the people that were not when he released those, because he apologized for them way back, and then they got brought up again. And the people that were going after him were the same people that he'd been antagonizing on the right side of the political spectrum. So there was that friction happening. So I think part of the problem here is that some of the sites that have reported this first are from kind of that same mesh. Jack Prosbiak is on Twitter, ex-military or ex-analyst, ex-intelligence analyst, has brought this up, but very right-leaning and has been in some of the same camps attacking Gunn before in the past for some of his tasteless jokes. So when he posted that, I also, for seeing that on Twitter, was also like, no, he's not a legitimate source. But again, the filing is not fake. As far as we know, the photo is not fake. This is this is now a matter of public record. So again, we'll keep following it.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens. And I don't even know to tell you what should happen. I don't know. I'm just bringing it to your attention. All right. Any last thoughts, Dom?
No. I mean, about James Gunn. No, I'm going to wait and see.
Cool.
Because I'm trying to figure out how much is like targeting versus, I don't know if I'm making sense right now, but basically I'm going to wait and see.
Did he facilitate a situation that was bad, even if he didn't particularly be involved in the litigants that are mentioned in this brief? Did he create an environment that made people feel comfortable doing something they should have been, breaking? Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, that's also a super sad topic.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so, folks, sorry to end the show on a sad bit, but I didn't want to keep putting this off. We've covered hard stuff on here before. We did Whedon before. I don't want to get into it. I'm not going to start listing off names, but we've had to do.
We don't have to list off all the terrible people we've talked about.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Tom, you watching anything?
I've been catching up on some movies. And I think I told you about this. Netflix has seemed to have released like a bunch of bad '90s movies, seeming to revolve around Damon Wayans too. There's Major Payne. There's there's the Net, Last Action Hero, The Last Boy Scout. So like,
Oh, that's what I meant. Sorry, not Last
Last
Action
Boy
Hero Schwarzenegger. I meant Last Boy Scout. Sorry, yeah.
so it's kind of funny that all these really bad movies are popping up on Netflix. So I'm kind of vacillating between those. Watched a lot of semi-new releases. Jungle Cruise, which was just it's what it is.
That's why I didn't watch it. I knew, baby. I knew that wasn't gonna be good, baby. So this is your time, baby.
Without Remorse, which was interesting. So, good news there is Michael B. Jordan now plays John Clark.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So please, let there be a Rainbow Six.
Yeah, we have not gotten a Rainbow Six movie.
No, we have not. Or TV show. Holy cow. They need to make that happen.
That'd be really cool.
What else have I?
Well, you know what comes out tonight?
Yes, the last Superman and Lois.
We gotta wait. Yeah, I'll probably be watching that right after we get off. And then let's see, Rebecca Hall is in a new movie called The Night House, which comes out this weekend. And then since we were talking about Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson,
Remnants.
Yeah, Remnant. But how'd you say it? Remnants?
I think it's Reminiscence.
Yeah, it's got just a couple extra C's and S's, and I'm just like, but we'll. I'll be checking out this weekend. I got a backlog of reviews that I'm trying to knock out and get pushed out. Movies I've already watched, so I'm just trying to get out for the end of the month, so that the next couple months aren't so backed up. So even if I'm not watching something, hopefully I'll be busy working this weekend. But yeah, so those are the three. Those are the big ones for me. Cool.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna quit jabbering so that we can. We're 2 minutes 28 seconds over. It's my fault. Tom, we will.
You monologuing.
Got me monologue, but we will give you the proper Commander Shipp and Major Tom salute because we're gonna see you next week, same time, same station.